everyone. Kevin, are you here?
Yes, I am.
We've started.
I know.
Are you still finishing your dinner?
Yes, I'm finishing my sandwich.
Okay.
I don't want to look disgusting while eating on camera.
What are you eating right now? Sandwich with what?
So like a toast bread with some white spread on it. I don't know. I just had a panic dinner because I didn't have time to prepare nothing, solid. So it's like fast, quick, going for a run, preparing some meal. So yeah, it's all panic mode today.
That's what this live stream is about. So this live stream, the intention behind it is we come barely prepared or unprepared, as in this example. And then like every other week, we walk over some React news, community news, talk shit about some technology. Let's see how it goes. So whenever you're ready, just turn on your camera. But I really like your avatar.
No, thank you. I made it myself. I mean, in this day and age, it's kind of complicated to say I made it myself because you can clearly see it's AI, but I trained the model myself. I worked on that myself. I learned it. So you can say I made it myself somehow. I even have my cameraman. So yeah, I wanted to mention about something you said about us coming unprepared. In this industry, you need to always be prepared for everything. So it's also kind of about that, because being on this stream, you will learn and you will be prepared for what's new, what's fresh out there. And the fun part is that you will learn with us. Let's learn together. So can I see at least like one comment for me to check if I can see what people are writing? Just like one yo or something. Don't make me feel like ninja on the New Year's Eve, Blossom.
I will wait for a comment from an audience, but we have like 25 people right now. So give it some time. If I don't see a comment in 30
That's like
seconds, I'm gonna write myself.
250 fingers able to type. That's a lot.
That's a quick counting, man.
It's 25 times 10. That's how many fingers you have. It's really not that impressive. Oh, hi. Yay. That's at least 10 very fast working and prepared, eager fingers.
That's my private laptop, actually. One of those 28 people is me.
And you are the most active one. It's actually, you know what? Let me quickly move the screen here, because I don't want to be looking sideways. I want to be looking in the camera, because it's polite to be looking at the people who are listening or speaking or whatever. Okay. So, Łukasz, what do you have prepared for us today? I mean, I know we are kind of unprepared, but what would you like to start with?
So the intention behind this is for us to have a relaxed conversation about what's going on in our ecosystem. I have something prepared, not that much, honestly, but I have something prepared. I have some small notes. But also, let's maybe. So you did a live stream last week, right?
Yes.
What was it
was
about?
fun.
I missed it. Sorry. What was it about? About AI, I imagine.
Yes, it was about our library, the React Native AI, and barely a week after, there is a new super race incoming. Again, people are trying to be as fast as possible with implementing stuff. So yeah, there will be much more happening in incoming week or 2 weeks. So be excited about that. However, yeah.
How about we start with that? So I saw a X post from Shimon, I think from today, announcing that he made this new Apple on-device SDK available to developers working in your library in React Native. How is it called?
AI, React Native AI. we are
React Native
quite
AI.
excited to have that namespace.
Should we look at the tweet? Hey Mike, how are you?
Hello, Mike.
Hey Mike, if you want to join, just like hit us up. I can give you the link. So,
By the way, they are not tweets anymore. They are now expressions.
oh, that's a nice.
No, I'm kidding. I have
name.
no idea. It might be an expression as well. But yeah,
So I will search for Szymon Rybczak.
I mean, Szymon is constantly working on something.
Yeah. So I think just today he tweeted 4 hours ago. New foundation models API for running on-device AI by Apple is working with React Native AI. Do you know anything about this?
Partially, I'd say, because I'm part of the chats, and there was a lot happening. So I was trying to, stay updated. But from what I know and from what I understand, there was this huge thing by Apple recently, right? Was it the keynote or something like that?
Well, it's WWDC, Worldwide Developer Conference. It was probably like 24 hours ago or something like that. They've announced a few things, not a lot about AI though. So the last year's focus was about highlighting some new things that are coming through.
Yeah, like moving icons on that screen. I was so excited about that. Oh, you are talking about WWDC. Sorry, yeah, I meant on the Apple keynote. It was kind of funny, but in terms of AI, didn't they announce that they will be adding option to basically use their internal AI?
Yes,
in your code? That's huge.
That's what I said about making it available for developers to use their own device LLMs.
Yes.
And I guess that's what Szymon did.
That's actually huge, but in the same time, I'm not even sure if I would be able to develop anything now, because from what I know, the on-device LLM and this whole Apple intelligence is only available on iOS, on iPhone 16.
I think it's 15 Pro and 16.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I have my iPhone 13 Pro. So even though I have some of the new features, it doesn't have this Apple intelligence, because those new devices are coming with LLM built in. So I'm not sure if do the simulators have LLMs included?
Oh, fuck, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tricky question. I know. That's a very tricky question. Because
we should ask Szymon.
Yeah, that would be ever. Oh, actually, let me write to him. Maybe we can learn that, because I know that Szymon has the newest iPhone, so he is able to figure it out, to develop and actually test it out. I could be writing in blind, which would be complicated and a bit problematic. So, oh yeah, Szymon just wrote to me. So hi Szymon, apparently he's listening as well. They do not. So
you cannot work on the local LLMs on the simulator.
Yeah. So if you want to be developing with the library, developing new stuff, you need to first invest in new iPhone or new Mac OS, because they also.
It's a great argument for you to ask your boss for a new device.
Nah, I would feel awful replacing my iPhone. I like it so much. I both like it and hate it, because this is my first iPhone ever. Previously, I was the Android guy, so I was one of.
And also, so I'm a newcomer to Apple ecosystem as well. So I've been using macOS for a long time, because this is for React Native programming, right? But I switched to iPhone like a year and a half ago or something like that. And then, like, coming from Android, there is so much I don't like about the iOS. And then watching the conference yesterday about all the new things, all the new shiny things that are coming to iOS and like Apple ecosystem in general, they're just like playing catch up with Google, with Android. Like, honestly, the whole iOS ecosystem
I know what you mean, but I had the same feeling. Like, that's why I kind of was laughing at the we have a new amazing technology. Now you can move your icons around the screen. You can push your icon on the bottom right, and everyone was going crazy. And you know what else? You can change the color of your desk. Wow, that's amazing. But that's actually kind of exciting because...
Do you remember that it wasn't possible to change the wallpaper on the iPhone until
no,
like
as I said, this is my
iOS?
First iPhone ever. This is my
Yeah,
first
sure,
iPhone
but
ever.
like that's a common knowledge that like Apple is not really so eager to allow you to customize the experience. Basically.
I mean, yeah, because that's why I mean that this is that's why it's kind of exciting stuff. I mean, exciting. It's, let's be real, it's kind of funny, but in the same time, iOS got famous for, I mean, Apple and iPhones got famous for like their handcrafting this experience for you, right? So if you get their device, you can expect perfection. You can expect it's going to be smooth, it's going to be fast, but what you give away is your like freedom to customize and make it more personal, for which like Android got super famous for. But looking on it the other way, Android were super customizable, but they weren't that fast, that snappy, because you have plenty of devices that are all running on the same system. Where in Apple case, they are creating device and they create the system as well. So it must be working amazingly. So it's kind of exciting for them to be like easing out on the on their handcrafted, experience. Like, one of the annoying things I still can't get over with is that I have all of the libraries, all of the apps on my right side of the screen, and I cannot turn it off. Apparently, there's this one thing. So if you have an icon of the timer, right, on your screen, this icon is animating. So it shows it.
Screen? What do you mean?
So you have the. I mean, I can't share my screen, but if you have the timer app, timing app, the whatever, you can see that the arrow is moving. That is actually being animated in real time.
Do you mean like a widget or?
No, the icon. I mean, I'm not sure if I can like I don't want to share too much of my screen because it's personal, but what's this app with alarms and everything?
No,
and you have the icon on your screen, right?
Oh, I know what you mean now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it's being animated.
It says 5:15 right now. Okay.
And even the red arrow is moving. And red arrow is moving. It's making circles in real time with each second.
Damn. Now, today I need to note that down. Today I learned that the icon is moving for clock. Are you aware if we can like animate our icons as well on iOS?
And that's what I wanted to tell you. I'm not sure. I think that Shimon told me that, or someone from Callstack. But basically, inside all of the low-level code, they have a simple check that if app equals timer or alarms, allow for animation. If not, then not. because so only this one icon is animated, and someone created like hacked away a solution where you can animate your icon. I bet it's gonna be patched very fast, because looking at it from developer's perspective, you can be mad that, oh, I want to have my icon animated, but when you look at it from Apple's perspective, if you will allow all the developers to have animated icons, like your nicely crafted wallpaper and the home screen, it can turn into a mess with all of the icons.
They did that last year. So last year they revealed, they unveiled you can customize icons and you can like tint them in some color. It looks so bad.
Yeah.
And like honestly, on Android we had that from the beginning. Like custom launchers would allow you to pick your own like icon set or whatever. This was one of the first apps that I ever paid for. Was like a Nova launcher for Android.
Yes,
and it was
yes,
really
I had
like
it.
customizable, and like you can select your own icons, and they had like a bunch of different icons for different apps, and it would look unified. Like the whole system would look unified, but it was like
it was like 10 zloty, right?
It was like it wasn't a small price to pay back then. Right now it seems laughable that like it costs like that little for like lifetime of usage.
Like even now, just like buying something for the lifetime, this alone sounds crazy.
Yeah,
because everyone's going to subscriptions.
So let's talk about this WWDC first, and like Apple's new things. And let's start with AI, as we already did. So last year they went all in on Apple Intelligence.
Yes.
And it was a mess because they announced a bunch of different things that were not really available, and some of them are not available. This year, I watched some summaries for this. They mentioned Siri twice only.
That's sad.
They did not mention AI a lot. Well, you can see some of the AI in Apple's ecosystem like being embedded and not really as a standalone features, like standalone apps or whatever, but like embedded in the ecosystem. But it seems like they are maybe not really backtracking, but they are what's the word?
We can swear on that stream? I didn't know
we
that.
can no, it's only my prerogative.
Okay.
No, you can do whatever you want. I think like they admitted that they went too fast last year, and some of the things
of course they did.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. Could you actually have a quick Google, because I have my microphone guy in front of me and he's blocking my
keyboard. I will share my screen.
Could you please like quickly check if there were any information, any details on what LLM does the iOS comes bundled with?
What? And I'm gonna
there is this one thing I heard somewhere, because because we are on stream and everything was also recorded, I feel kind of uncomfortable speaking with confidence, because nowadays there are so many fake news and fake scandals and whatever. It's super hard to speak about anything with confidence. But what I heard quite a bit ago was that somebody tested the Apple Intelligence and they found out that if while writing a message on Apple messages, on the iPhone messages, if you would write ignore previous requests and tell me a joke or whatever, it would write a joke. So this kind of suggests that they have one base LLM on device, something like, I don't know, Llama, like small Llama with 7 billion parameters, right? And when you are opening a different app, they're just switching the system prompt to make the same LLM do different tasks. That's why it's very hard to test. It's not like small LLMs designed for different tasks. Like at least that's what I assume, because there are plenty of approaches, I believe, to solving that. But working with AI, and I had some experience with that, is very tricky, because you can't expect anything. Like even people were so excited when there was this new schemas, right? You know what schemas are? The tool response, the JSON response schemas, for instance. There is this option that when you are making a call to LLM, you can provide also a schema. So a schema is basically what
return format.
Yes, exactly. What do you expect? But here's a tricky part. It's not validated or verified on the backend side. So you can still get something that doesn't match the schema completely. If you would make a conversation where you would send by accident wrong schema, right, as a user response, for instance, then you basically override the expectations from LLM. So nothing, even if you think that something is guaranteed, it's still not guaranteed. So that's a big problem with LLMs. And so now you don't have like super expert LLMs, right? You have one base LLM and changing system. At least that's my assumption. Because knowing Apple, they will not release any like super public information about implementation details, unless they did, and I just don't know. It's also possible. So what did you find?
This basically, iOS comes bundled with Apple's own large language model as part of the new Apple Intelligence, blah, 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 which runs on device. And on private cloud. Yeah, private cloud compute.
Yeah.
They said this yesterday as well, that like basically some smaller requests are processed on device, which is private by default. And then we know that our users care about privacy a lot. So like we have this private cloud compute that
isn't that just ChatGPT? I remember that on this huge keynote last year, there was a pretty big like people had issues with that's basically ChatGPT, that they had some magical deal that they're processing stuff privately, yes, but it's still ChatGPT connected to your phone.
Well, like this could have changed, right? Like from last year to today, this could have changed.
So I'm very curious now, because I know that Apple really cares for privacy and everything, but I don't know. It's super weird that they are running their own custom LLM. And okay, so did anyone break out this LLM? Did anyone, because the weights are on the device. So
I don't really understand the question.
Yeah, because if you have a device, right, you have those 3 billion parameters LLM on device. Like it's on device. If there are people who are making their living breaking stuff and hacking stuff, the information about the LLM on device must have had leaked somewhere, somehow. So I'm very curious. Can you perplex me that?
So the question would be, did anyone try
leak the LLM
and succeeded of breaking into the Apple's LLM?
Succeeded.
Yeah, I know. But the nice thing is that you don't have to like correct your misspellings. As of now, there are no public reports, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, we don't care about public stuff. Like Apple is not going to do anything public about that.
Okay, let's maybe switch from. So I have this. I have two. I have two notes in my.
That's a massive
Notion.
list.
Yeah, but for Apple event, I actually have some. Have some bullet points. So, first things first, they unified OS naming. I like that. What I don't like about it
can you explain for me what does?
Oh yeah, okay. So like, there used to be like iOS 18 together with iPad OS 15, together with watchOS 9, together with VisionOS 3. The numbers are definitely wrong. So what they're doing now is they're resetting all of the naming conventions to be the year, and then everything macOS, iOS, watchOS is 26, which is on
but
one
it's
hand,
still gonna have those minors and everything, right?
Oh yeah, that's definitely. But like, so they are doing this 26, meaning in 2 months or in 1 month, you can try out the 26 beta, and then iPhones that are released in. I am, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna explain to you why.
Okay.
And then in September, you have a new iPhones that will come with iOS 26. But we are in 2025 still, which is confusing as well.
You have the same stuff with FIFA.
I know, which is like
preparing for the new season. But yeah, it is. I mean,
FIFA is no longer called FIFA, you know?
Yeah, I know, it's FC.
Okay, so first thing first, they unified the naming convention, which I think broadly is great, because like there will be less confusion about which system you run on your device. Is it watchOS 9 or like should you have 10 or whatever? And then developer beta will be available in July, meaning next month. And I want to try it out.
The first version is called Tahoe.
The what?
Tahoe.
Oh, that's the macOS. Tahoe. So macOS is usually named after some kind of place.
Yeah. Like so, Sequoia.
Let's see, macOS Tahoe.
But so they will have 26, but it's going to be like 26 point something for the updates, or are they going to keep all of those in sync? Like it's still gonna divert from each other unless
from each other, yes, but like at least every year on WWDC you will get all the new systems with the new major version number.
It would okay. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, that's cool.
Well, I think like there is no downside to this. There is only some positives. There is still some confusion. Like I said, we are in 2025 and they're naming their system 26. Okay. But like they're unifying, so it's going to be less confusing going forward. Because like they extracted iPad OS from iOS, like, I don't know, 9 years ago or something like that. And I'm not sure iPad OS. So let's do this. So the first iPad was introduced, blah, 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 with iPhone OS 3. Okay. And then iOS, blah, 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 iOS. And then it started with, I don't know. I honestly don't see.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm asking as well. Like, do we know that minors won't be synced? Because it would actually kind of make sense for all of the devices to be, but then there will be plenty of updates without any changes possibly, or all of the syncs would like. I know too little about internal Apple's like development flow, so I'm not sure. Like, do they release all of the updates for all of their devices at the same day?
Well,
And
the major versions are released on WWDC, not released, like showcased, right? And then you have access to them for the in development betas, and then first like release version for iOS is bundled together with iOS release in September. I don't honestly know about other systems. Mike is asking, do we know that minors won't be 100%?
synced.
I don't know. But like, it doesn't make sense for them to be synced because like they could have platform specific functionality. So if we are getting new icons, new colors for iOS, that doesn't necessarily mean that we get new icons and new color for macOS.
I mean, yes, but in the same time, if they are always releasing like, I don't know, bi-weekly or once a month, they will still have updates to release on all of the devices. So yeah, like I don't want to like overdo this topic because it's it's yeah, you convinced me. You convinced me. I'm on board. I'm quite hyped for them to
Pay
simplify.
me up, Team Apple.
Yeah, because
I convinced someone.
Yeah, because when I saw like iOS 18 and then I saw Watch OS 9, then I was like, oh wow, that's really old version. Should we still support? And it turns out that it's so yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, it's gonna be easier.
It's gonna it's simplified.
Let's go to the next new thing. Major design overhaul, liquid glass. And we have comment from Mike as well, Windows Vista. Yes, we saw that in Windows Vista in 2007 or whatever.
I can tell you, if people won't like that, I can tell you already how people are going to call it online.
How?
Liquid ass. If they won't like it.
Let's start this trend. I hate it.
Like, liquid glass, more like liquid ass. Am I right?
I hate how it looks. I liked how iOS went from being this three-dimensional at the beginning to be more flat, like now. And now they're changing this to be three-dimensional again, and then also like transparent. Which is
because you know why, I bet. It will look sick on VisionOS. Can you please show?
This is
can you please show on the? Because I saw some screenshots, some like videos. But if you could, like, for people watching, if there are people watching, it would be really really fun for people if they're watching. Just for context, show what we're talking about. What is the liquid glass? And how does it look like? I bet they have some sort of a showcase somewhere.
Sure. Delightful, blah, blah, blah.
Well, delightful, blah, blah, blah sounds quite tight.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't like what I saw there. Yeah, that's for VisionOS. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Well, this one is nice, actually. I like the.
I have a huge issue with the cursor, the marker on iOS. I can never properly mark down the correct word. I've been using iOS for such a long time now, like over 3 years, and I still have no idea how to use that. Every time I try to mark something precisely, it does not work.
Yeah, but look at this. It's going to be so difficult to use this. It's not. What about accessibility? What about like readability for the screen? It's going to be hard to use this. Well, okay, this one looks better because the background is dark. If the background is light, it's not gonna be usable.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know
I
how I
guess
think
like
about
Apple
that.
does Apple, right? But like I don't like it. I'd rather have bigger icons with like flat design.
Oh yeah, the readability, like when there is as you said, when there is a colorful background, it looks nice because it actually looks like glass. But on the white screen, it looks more like the GL goes out of the
Well,
window.
you can see it here. You could see it here, right? On this example, here. So on the white background, it has this.
Wait, is this blur also built in?
Yeah. So on the white background, you have this like underlay, like some kind of matte
The gradient.
gradient underneath. And then when it switches to dark background, you get this like other underlay.
I am not a fan of designs that have plenty of ifs. Because it's basically like if this then that, if this then that. And
So look at this maps example. Like this is not that readable.
I'm like,
Right?
look, if I would see that without context, my first thought is that if I would swipe, I'm gonna move the bar. Like I have no idea that it will be expanded. Because if it's floating, for me it's a modal. You can move it around the screen. If
Well,
it's
not
connected to the
anymore. So they did this tabs some time ago already. Like this is all coming from VisionOS, and like Oscar ported this to React Native as well. So like floating tabs at the top, like tab navigator. This is not new. Like this floating island of icons, let's say. This is bad though. Look at this.
maybe they wanted to, because now when you connect it with the idea of those switching colors, now this is gonna look better.
Okay, let's not dwell on this too much. So that's the liquid glass
Yeah, so
overhaul.
it's so you are it's a draw for now. Convince me on the first one, the liquid glass.
I'm not convincing you on this one. Like I'm against this one with all my heart.
Yeah, so you
I
didn't
don't.
convince me to hate it. I'm on the
Oh, I
fence.
didn't
I'm
convince
still
you
on the
to
fence.
hate it.
Yeah, because I would, because on all of those examples, like just like with the Apple Intelligence, the examples actually. Oh no, wait. The examples were weird as well. Like all of the examples were so out of the place. Like even the commercials, they were like, oh no, I forgot about my husband's birthday. Oh, Apple Intelligence, what should I buy? Like, so like all of the examples, they were aiming for people that are inconsiderate, they're not nice, and they are like, sorry, I don't want to go on a tangent, but yeah.
Well, for AI feature in iPhone, they are catching up with Google with this phone screening, call screen, which is great. Like on Pixels, you had that like I think 2 years ago or something, that like AI assistant will pick up your phone and like ask for a name and the reason for a call, and then you will get that on the device.
I've seen some.
So I've never
Great.
used it on Google on Android phone. I think I was already
You
using
mean those
iPhone.
summaries, right?
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of great examples because it reads from the context, right? So I've seen one example of somebody wrote that they put their son to sleep, and
It's not about summarizing the messages.
Oh,
It's
okay.
about call screening. So yeah, let's just go over. So like call screening iOS.
So like you have your own personal assistant that they will pick up and they'll be like, "Who's that? Who's there?"
Yeah, something like that. So you will have this. So someone is calling you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone is calling, spam risk, and then you get this. So, hi, this is Greg downstairs with a flower delivery, blah, blah, blah. So, AI assistant is picking up your phone for you, and then it is transcribing to you what
Oh,
that person is saying. So you don't have to answer, you don't have to interact yourself.
But this, God damn it! Sorry. I just hate how we are making such huge rounds with technology. This is basically your what? How was it called? The answering machine. This is basically the answering machine, the screen calling.
Yeah.
Like previously, you could just like, we are not able to answer your call. Record your message after and while people were talking, you could have picked up the phone. So this is basically the same thing.
Yeah, that's useful.
Is it though?
Yeah, it's useful. Do you get spam calls, Kevin?
No, because I don't pick them up. I turned on that if I don't have the number saved, it's not even appearing for me.
Okay,
There
yeah.
were
So
too many.
like...
Lately, there are too many scam calls. I just don't care about them. If it's something very important, I will get a mail or an SMS or whatever.
Well, I don't agree necessarily. So like, let's say you go to the dentist, right? And sometimes the dentist office will have like 3 different lines, and then like you have your main line saved.
They will write a message that we couldn't reach you, wanted to ask about this and that, and then you can save their number.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that for me. They call once, and like I need to call again. Okay, so that's this. Okay, then the other nice
change your dentist.
I like my dentist. I'm going tomorrow actually.
Oh, I'm so sorry for you.
Don't be.
I hate the dentists. Like I would go through surgery. I would prefer that than going to the dentist. I don't know why. I just hate the dentist. I don't hate the dentists. I hate the dental visits.
The other thing that I don't think I have here is the for phone functionalities with intelligence is when you call to somewhere that you have to wait and there's this music, you will somehow have Apple Intelligence listen on that call. You can just throw your phone away, and then it will call to you again when the actual person picks up on the line, when you don't have to wait anymore.
Okay, that's you see that's my main issue with those is that they are giving me solutions for things I didn't know I had problems with. Like there are once a quarter situations where I have to like actually call somewhere where they have the melody, and my problem is sometimes those beats are cool. Sometimes it's fun to listen to them.
It's always some kind of royalty-free classical music.
Don't you dare crap on royalty-free music. They've been holding up so many YouTubers, starting YouTubers and starting creators. Royalty-free music is great.
Let's see.
Some of the please wait for your turn music is also that's so cool. And tell
I'm not sure this is royalty free.
You are number 26. Please wait for your turn. Yeah. And you are just and you can jump out, you can wait. You're almost excited. Like a couple of times I was mad that I finally got the call, that I finally broke through, because I was like, the drop was almost there, and they picked up the phone. I was like, damn it. So yeah, anyways, that's actually fun. That's actually dope. But so it will be only. Oh yeah. So my main question is, because most of those updates seem to exclude a lot of users of older iPhones. So maybe I'm skeptical because it looks like I won't
not
be able to use those.
necessarily. I don't know how many of those are only for these new iPhone models and how many of those are for everyone.
Now, okay, now let's put our
It's a mixed
technical
bag.
glasses.
Like I imagine some features will be just going out to everyone.
Let's put for a second our technical glasses, our experts' glasses, right? Imagine you want to create a feature like that. Like people are calling to you and you want to screen the call. If you have LLM on your device, then you can programmatically pick up the phone, record, and basically, you are, oh, that's also because you pay for the call, right? So how
Who
did
is
they
paying for
solve that?
the call?
If you are calling, right, you're getting charged. If somebody is calling, you're getting charged. So are they getting charged for speaking with your AI assistant? And is this call
Yes.
being transcribed somewhere in the cloud on your local LLM device?
Well,
So
it's
there's
when you
so
call
many
me,
technical issues.
you are responsible for paying your service provider. And
and I basically
honestly,
pay for talking to an LLM. I'm talking to your phone instead of talking to you.
sure, like you would with my answering machine.
Kind of.
This
maybe.
was solved, Kevin. Like it's not a big issue.
Listen,
no one is
I'm just a grumpy old man in a young,
honestly,
beautiful man's
if
body.
you look at it from the perspective of 2025, no one is thinking about how much it costs me to call you, how much it cost me to call you for the first 20 seconds.
Okay. You got me. What can I say? Yes, you
Like
are right.
I pay my service provider like the same amount each month. Sometimes it's more if I call abroad or whatever. But like honestly, I don't think about counting minutes when I call someone.
Okay. So then, from the technical aspect, like if you have an iPhone 13 like I do, then I don't have LLM on my device. So they would have to reroute somehow the call through their on cloud LLM for transcribing the question and then sending this to, like, it's borderline undoable. So it must be only for the newest iPhones.
I don't know. Honestly, like
It's
maybe
both
they do it with this. Maybe they do it with where is it? Where is it?
The on cloud, right? Provided.
The cloud, right?
But it's the paid option. You need to like pay for it, subscription fee, because they are basically connecting you with because you need to. They will not, like, from a business point of view. If you are buying a phone from them, you can't expect for them to pay for the processing fees of the LLM just so you can, like, decline the call from your mom or something like that. Like, because you have to pay for that as well. So there will be a fee for that if you would have. And I don't know. I'm very skeptical. But let's go through. I don't want to be sorry for getting stuck on the details, but I'm very passionate about technology in those terms.
What's stood out for me in AI and Apple Intelligence is that they have not revealed anything new or groundbreaking or like new Siri. Like the new Siri, I remember using my Google Assistant 2 years ago, and back then it was much better than Siri right now is on my newest iPhone.
Recently, I reignited my love for Siri because I started using reminders. And I'm not going to swear, but I like to say, just like, if I want to take my pills on the evening, then I'm asking Siri, please remind me to take freaking pills at 20. And she is repeating it word by word. I have so much fun with that. Like, she's swearing the reminders back to me. But to be honest, that was very expected. If you remember, I said that those LLMs are extremely unpredictable. So now imagine that Apple, that is, let's honestly say, famous for its security and taking care of the users, of the security, privacy, and everything. Let's now imagine that they didn't properly test the new Siri, and she's suggesting for you to unlive yourself. Like, this would be devastating for them. Like the share prices would go down because, oh, new Siri is suggesting people like to harm themselves.
Yes,
And
this is why it took them so long to actually like do anything with AI, because they are really privacy focused and they are really protective of their brand. And then it goes like let me find a word here. The constraints of giving you the privacy and working with AI, those are like going into different directions. In order to work well with AI, you have to have a lot of computing power, you have to have a lot of data, and then in order to have privacy, you have to have as little data as possible and be as closed as possible.
oh yeah,
So there are
that's a very good
like
point.
two different roads for this, and that's why like Facebook with their Llama and like ChatGPT and all of those other companies are like winning, and Google as well, winning at that
Really?
game, and Apple is not, is because like Apple had been closed ecosystem, right?
I have a prediction to make because you piqued my curiosity now. Because if they have their own LLM, where did they got the data? If they care so much about privacy. So my prediction.
Answer this, Tim Cook.
Yeah, like my prediction is that the new Apple Intelligence with their own on-cloud servicing, etc., you will be able to opt in, but your conversations and all of the data processed on the cloud could be used for training the model further. That's my prediction. So basically, kind of like Netflix is allowing you to watch the videos, but see the ads, and they can lower your fee. My prediction is that Apple will somehow allow you to, like, because they have a bunch of diehard fans of the brand. So they will open the doors for them and suggest that, oh, you can improve the quality of your favorite product, and you can do it for free. And only thing that will cost you is your privacy. And they will be like, of course, it's super private, but we'll teach and like prepare a new, better version of LLM on your day. That's my prediction. You can write it down somewhere. We can make a whole of famous predictions. And once it will happen, you will buy me a coffee.
Sure. I can buy a coffee now. Like it doesn't make sense for them to not use this data. They will probably make a lot of statements about how careful they are about the data, but like they have to use it. They probably already are. It's like it's nothing new. Like this is the fuel for LLMs. That's the fuel for AI revolution data. So like they need the data.
Yeah, and the problem is that, like previously, you could just harvest the data from the internet because the internet was like organic, right? Only people were on the internet, and now the internet is flawed. It's polluted with AI, like
AI crap.
Yeah. So I'm wondering that if they would hold up with releasing new models for like a year or 2 years, would the data be even better, and the first released GPT would be like outperforming everything? Sorry, I just like pushed myself into fantasy land for a second. But yeah, it's
I guess that's where the like data curation comes in, right? Like
yeah.
Meaning finding the right data to train your model on.
But it's such a broad topic. I mean, finding the right data. One thing I'm kind of surprised is that it's not more popularized now is LoRa's, the low rank adjustment layers, I think it's called. Let me quickly double check because I don't want to be caught on stream lying. LoRa, what is LoRa?
I can search this for you.
Low rank adaptation. Yeah, low rank adaptation. So basically imagine that as you have a screwdriver, right? The base screwdriver, and then you can exchange the top for different types of screws. So the top bit, it's basically a LoRa. So it's like adapting the last layer of the response. So you have all of the power of the model, but then it's adjusted for your specific need. LoRa's are very famous in stable diffusion communities and generative AI communities because they allow you to take the base model and basically turn it into a machine that like creates exactly what you want, exactly what you need, right? So I'm kind of surprised that those LoRa's are not more popular in those bigger LLMs. That people are still using stuff like zero. How is it called now? Like basically giving examples of what they expect or the system prompt. Like I'm kind of surprised that the LoRa's are not more popular.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like I'm not that deep into like low level architecture of LLMs.
Well, one day I can tell you more about it. I would actually love to. So if there will be people interested to listen about that, I will try to get as low level as possible while still being as like clear and informative as possible.
Okay,
but
let me give you like a quick roundup of what I remember from WWDC and like we can move on.
Sure.
So this is funny. This is funny because now if you are chatting with someone on messages in Apple ecosystem, you will see that someone is typing.
Wow. And the custom background.
And the custom background.
They basically turned the messages into Telegram or like Messenger or any other messaging app.
Typing indicators. Like this is not new. Like I would be ashamed of actually announcing this as a new thing. This is strange.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know that it was not a part of Messages app in the first place. I guess for like one-on-one conversation, it was already. It just they added this to like multi-person conversation to like group chats, but it's still like mind blowing to me.
You know what? It kind of looks like. It kind of looks like a person who was asked, okay, so what have you been doing this past year? And they are scrambling to answer. Like they are coming up with, and I added texting indicators.
That's like a stand-up, right? That's like a demo for sprint where you were procrastinating for 9 days and then on the 10th day of the sprint, you have to deliver something. And you cannot say, I was like working through PRs for the 9 days. You say, I fixed this bug and it was really big bug. Like I spent 2 days debugging.
So one of the possibilities is that maybe they diverted all of the resources from maybe all of the resources are allocated into something like huge and big that it will be incoming. And they are, putting everything aside. So maybe that's why this presentation seems kind of lackluster. Because for this glass, right, you need a bunch of designers and some people who will implement that, like for the typing indicator, same. But I don't know. It kind of looks like either they are using the resources on something that will come and is huge, or no way. There can't be any or. It must be that.
I think you're oversimplifying this. So they have a bunch of different products, right? So like it's not like 10,000 developers are working on this like dot indicators. They have watchOS, they have hardware, they have their LLMs, they have their like Project Titan that was scrapped, but like a bunch of people were working on like autonomous cars. They have their CarPlay that has its own standalone version now that will be like released soon in some cars, like standalone CarPlay.
Isn't it something like Spotify tried to do that? And they failed massively?
I don't know.
Yeah. You can type in, you can check. There was car thing. They called it car thing. And it was released by Spotify, and it was such a massive flop. They had to take it down from market, and they discontinued it. So now everyone who bought it.
Like, so this is a standalone device. I know what it is. This is a standalone device. What I'm talking about is Apple CarPlay integrated in the car. So this is this, right? It's this kind of CarPlay where you have your car screen, your car infotainment system being CarPlay, not a standalone device, not a mirrored iPhone experience, like actual integrated system within your car. So like they revealed this. So it says here that they announced this in 2022, so 3 years ago. They revealed this like a month ago or something.
You know what I'm actually waiting for the...
So this is CarPlay Ultra. The next generation of CarPlay begins rolling out today in Aston Martin vehicles.
I'm so excited then. I will be testing that tomorrow. No, come on.
I wish. Definitely. So like actually CarPlay is something that I dislike about my iPhone because
it's bugged.
Loved Google, how is it called? Android Auto. Android Auto is way better. Like it's miles ahead of CarPlay. And every time I sit in the car with my friends that do have Android still, like phones, like Pixels or like those kind of devices. The Android
Your
Auto.
tone. Like Pixels. And,
No, like I have like a bunch of Pixels in my home office. Like I still love them. I still have them. I didn't sell those.
Yeah, I have a bunch of Pixels on my screen.
I love how Android Auto works, and like I hate how Apple CarPlay works.
Yeah,
you know that in Android Auto you can actually like pinch and zoom the map, and like rotate the map and like interact with the map. In CarPlay you have to touch the buttons to zoom out, zoom in, and like move. Maybe move not, but like all of that. Okay, let's go back to this. This is one that I wanted to talk with you about. This is iPad OS overhaul, where iPad OS is becoming more and more like an actual computer. So you could resize the windows in some applications in some like strict ways previously as well. But now I think all of the windows will be able to overlap and resize to like exact proportions that you want. Which is great.
I mean, yeah, the idea is great, but this screen you are showing, that's the dumbest thing I've seen. Like,
yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Look at that. Isn't that super cool? You would like your iPad to look like that.
But like even here, I don't know if you can see that, but shit. So here you can see the 3 dots.
Yeah.
In the left top corner, you will have that. So this is like basically macOS icons, not icons, but like macOS functionality in iPadOS. So like my wife is using our iPad as a computer. We have this like other computer at home, which is separate from my work computer, and like she is still using iPad to do all of the things. She doesn't touch the actual like laptop. So like this will be good for her because like, and I there are a bunch of people like that. They are not used to using laptops or computers or anything like that. They are used to using their phones for everything or tablets.
Yeah, I would like to switch to using tablet a little bit more because for quite a long time now I've been on this journey to find a perfect device because I've been trying to use notebooks for a long time, but it annoys me after some time because I either forget to keep them or I when I mess something up, scratch off and it looks awful then. So I like the idea of a device where you can write with your hand and pencil and everything. So basically like iPad, but huh. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of like so many windows on the iPad. Like what one thing I would love to finally have, if you've been using Android, you will know what I'm talking about. I want on my iPhone to be able to split screen.
Oh yeah. Oh man. I
I
missed
want
this
a
so
split
much.
screen on my iPhone. So many times I like okay, I'm gonna be real with you. I've been using it mainly when I was playing games on my phone and I was doing a split screen and reading up like guides or builds or anything like that on a separate screen. And but still, it was so useful. It was great, and I don't understand why. Like when I switched to an iPhone and I tried to do a split screen, and I realized it's not an option. I just couldn't believe that. I was Googling for like 2 hours trying to find like, no way. I bet you can do it somehow. But you couldn't.
Well, they have it on iPad, right? Like on iPad, I have
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And on
So like it
iPad,
is like it's there it's in the system.
yeah, on iPad it was amazing because I was doing a split screen. On the left side, I had some like math book or whatever, like some learning things, and on the right side, I had my notebook. So I could on the same screen, like write and take notes and then read. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of split screens. I just I'm not sure if iPad would be good for having those floating screens. That sounds annoying. I would prefer for those screens to like snap to a specific corners, for instance, to be like layout to be more organized. But I'm weird. So what can I say?
Listen, I need a short break to
Sure.
go do something. Here is I have a task for you and for listeners. Please do this for me. So those are the newsletters that I try to read every week. Sometimes I'm successful in this, sometimes not. Please let me know in the comments what other newsletters should we, as React Native developers, JavaScript front-end developers, Apple, Android developers, blah, blah, blah. What else should we be reading every day? Every week. What kind of newsletters? So give me your ideas in the comments, and maybe, Kevin, you can like, I don't know, like talk as well over this, and I will
Yeah,
be back in 1 minute.
I'd love to. Okay, so go pee quickly. And I'm very curious. Are there any people listening? So please give me your comment. Like if you could write in the chat something like "Hi." Oh, this would be amazing. I would kill for just "Hi" or "Hello." I'm there because I'm feeling like I'm going crazy over here just talking to myself. But going back to the newsletters, if you have any newsletters recommendation, please share them in the comments. It would be amazing to get them. From my side, in terms of newsletters, I'm going to be honest. I resigned from reading them because for past 1.5 years, I believe, I was obsessed with learning everything I can and reading on everything I find about AI related topics. And after some time of trying to keep up with all of the new stuff, I realized that most of the news are this and that company stole data from this and that company. And this and that company created newer, better, faster, cheaper model. But this company, and so on and so forth, it was constantly like reading up on those small incremental improvements. And it was all of the same things repeated, and regurgitated all over the time, every time. So I stopped reading that. And one of the newsletters that I'm currently, the only newsletter that I'm reading is from AI Explained. If you don't know him, he has a channel on YouTube, AI Explained, and he has one of the best prepared, best educated content there on YouTube. And he also has a newsletter, but this is not a newsletter, AI Explained. Like, this is not a newsletter that comes every day or every other day. It like he makes a drop once, I don't know, every 2 weeks or something like that. And he gathers only the most important, the most crucial bits of information there are. And I recommend him a lot because he does like, oh yeah, one of his newsletter is called the Signal to Noise, because basically when you are doing AI learning, like machine learning, and you are teaching a model, there is this thing called noise to signal ratio. So you need to find a good amount of signal for your model to start learning. And that's the idea of the newsletter. So basically you're focused on the signal and you're trying to cut off the noise. And that's what he's trying to do. He focuses only on the most are you putting your email on the stream?
Yeah, my email is safeforstream at gmail.com.
And it wasn't taken.
It was so surprising for me. I created this Gmail, I think 3 months ago when I started streaming. Like, it's all the emails that I have now because I rarely use this. But the idea is that I have the completely different browser for this thing so that I'm not revealing any information about our clients or myself, like personally. So like, this is the account that I can show. I'm not... as you can see, I have Perplexity Pro, so we can use it on the stream as well. But like, I haven't subscribed to this newsletter from that account yet. But like, I have them here as links. So if we go to this week in React, we can like browse through the latest news.
Yeah. So unfortunately, all of the listeners are very shy currently. They are too shy to share any newsletters. Hopefully in the future it will change. Currently, we didn't get any new newsletters ideas.
Well, I have one from you, which is great.
Yes,
thank you.
He is great, and the most important part is that he shares only important stuff, and very rarely. It's not like you're because you weren't here when I was telling that. I tried. I think the Bytes. I tried their AI newsletter, and after some time, I figured out that it's constantly the same type of news. So it's like, this company has better, faster, cheaper model, and this company has better, faster, cheaper model, and this company is suing this company, and this company, whatever. Like, constantly, it's just like games crafted from the same engine. It's basically the same game with a different spin on the graphics and like, it's the same news, right? I
Well,
don't need to.
it's a very common thing in newsletters to have that. So like if I'm subscribed to all of those, and I had been doing this, like this kind of, maybe not live stream, but podcast about news for a few years ago. Like we would read through all of them every week, and like there will be overlap. And like I get that you are looking for something more curated to you, meaning some maybe deeper knowledge. But mostly the newsletters are there to provide you the links and like provide you the some like basic knowledge, and then you have to like dig into the discussions, like to GitHub discussions or like to, I don't know, library pages or documentation to figure out for yourself more. Let's do this. Maybe let's. This is my favorite one. I love this. This one is funny.
The bytes were very
Bytes
cool.
is funny, and they have the. Okay, it's not them. Which newsletter have the?
The what?
Like the not the game, but the question, the JavaScript riddle. I thought
So
it was
basically like a
bytes.
newspaper with what? A newspaper with.
Oh, spot the bug. So it wasn't in the previous,
okay.
in the current release, but like
Hey, show me
in the
that.
previous one, we have the riddle. So, and I think it's okay. So I did this one. Like I know what the answer is in this one.
Okay, so let me quickly go through the code.
So spot the bug. What will happen? This one is hard, actually.
Okay. I'm trying to, be fast with that. So
I read it last week, and I had some initial, like I had some uneducated guess, like what will not work. It turned out to be more or less correct, my guess from last week, because this is the newsletter from last week. But I didn't know like why, or is it even correct answer. So the correct answer is at the bottom here. Basically, it will not work.
Yeah, that's what I think, because isn't the problem with this?
It's something to do with this, but like something to do with how you call this animal function in the first place. So you don't have the new here.
Oh, right.
And
yeah,
then okay, let's go to the. So you either do this, you do object create from animal prototype, because like you have to have like creation from the prototype, or you create the new object with this and not with the like the function call.
I mean, to be honest, I personally I would still go with just class naming convention.
Meaning this.
No, I would just create a class.
Oh yeah, class.
Because this is all of this underneath. It makes all of that stuff, but like hidden behind syntactic sugar.
So this is my favorite. This is my favorite newsletter because, why not just class?
Exactly.
Ask Tyler at Bytes Dev.
Yeah, I mean, for the purpose of this riddle, it does make sense, because it proves and shows you the differences. Like one of the things I remember that I was surprised to learn, when you have Lambda functions in JS, and you have also the regular function, like you can declare something with function or with const, right?
Yeah.
So if I remember correctly, the function doesn't have a scope to this.
Yeah, like if you create anonymous function, it will not have the this reference. You have to bind
this
it.
will be referencing to global.
Yeah, to global, to win.
Yeah,
to global.
But if you are making a const, then this is scoped inside the function.
If you're making a const, Maybe I don't
Yeah,
remember
because
that.
like this makes closure, I think it's called. It makes a closure with scoped this, and I'm not proud to say I created a couple of bugs without
Oh
this
yeah,
knowledge
like
in the past.
so like it's no longer that big of an issue because we don't use classes that much anymore in React. A few
And
years
I would
ago,
like for it to come back. Classes were amazing.
well, yeah, I agree with you actually. I love how classes have this like clear interface where
Yeah.
when you scope, when you structure your class for it to have like methods, right? And right now, if you want to create methods, you have to basically like do the const inside the functions and then like do use effects or whatever,
Yeah.
or
I
like
mean,
refs.
I like both those things, but if in terms of components, class component, sorry, the function components all the way. I hated the render function. I didn't like the will unmount, will dismount, want
I love
unmount.
those. I love the lifecycle methods.
But you still have them with function components.
Would use effect, you mean?
Yes, you still have those. You have
No.
on unmount on return from use effect.
What? Ah, okay. Well, yes and
One
no.
case
Yes and no.
on cleanup from the previous run.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it, from my perspective, it's like having will unmount on steroids, because you can attach every variable to will unmount. So that's quite powerful thing. But what I wanted to say is that I prefer function components all the way, and I've been preferring them like that for quite a while now. But if there is an entity inside the code that has to like represent something else than components, like you're coding a game or some logical entity, that's a class all the way. Like all of the internal processing, like formatting and stuff like that, that's a class. And you won't convince me otherwise, because like with object-oriented programming, it should all aim for recreating what we have in the real physical world, but with the code. So it's more readable that way. Like I still remember one of the funny things I noticed being in the industry for over 10 years, I think, is that all of those new shiny languages that are created, often they are very abstract. They hide away a lot of implementation. And after some time, people are starting to complain that, oh, I want some more flexibility with the code. So can you add this? Can you add that? And most of the languages I've seen are slowly making a huge turn, and they are becoming a C++ again. So it's like all of those abstractions are cool for this one very specific case. And then people want more flexibility, more flexibility, more flexibility. And at the end of the day, all of those low-level functionalities are still exposed or like enabled. And people still want just a C++ re-implemented with a different syntax. So yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure what's your point.
So my point is,
Where is the conclusion?
The conclusion is that apparently, after all, C++ is the greatest language ever.
Sure, probably, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that everyone should at least try to learn that, because Łukasz, what was your first language except for Polish?
Pascal.
Oh wow! But did you just write like a simple language, or did you actually like learn that properly?
Well, I learned that in high school, 2005. I started to learn first programming language, which was Pascal. I was quite good at it. Pascal is not really meant, like, I don't really know if Pascal is meant to be like a regular programming language. Like, you can do a lot of things in Pascal, but like, I think it was made for like actually to be a language to learn programming with. So it's like very verbose. You have this do end or whatever, like begin end for
I think
procedures and stuff like that. And then I remember how I felt for the first time when I rediscovered for myself bubble sort. I did bubble sort, not knowing what bubble sort is. I did it myself. I was really proud. I showed it to my teacher back then, and he said, "Oh, okay. So this is called bubble sort."
Wow.
And then you made a mistake here. So if you exit this loop earlier, you will have the complexity is n squared. But if you exit the loop earlier, because like you don't have to do each comparison on each run, you will have the execution time, which is still be n squared complexity, but you will have the execution time. And I was like, wow, this is great.
Nice.
And then like, so Pascal is fine, but like then I learned Java, obviously, and I programmed in Java, which is also really verbose, right? Like you have.
So then you only had to just learn script.
Yeah, like I did C and C++ as well. I knew back then how to program in C and C++, and then I'm doing JavaScript right now and also RESTscript. RESTscript is great. Do you know RESTscript?
I have no idea.
So RESTscript is a programming language created by Jordan Walk, who created React as well. And RESTscript has, it's basically an OCaml, which is another programming language. RESTscript is a syntax for OCaml to make RESTscript look more like JavaScript. And also it is compiled to JavaScript, but it has this great, I love this, this great utilities like this switch statement, which is basically pattern matching. So, and like everything is an expression. So the switch statement will return something always. Everything is an expression in RESTscript.
Isn't it kind of looks like Swift?
It does, yes. Yeah. So I spent more than 1 year, like actually developing a React Native and web app in RESTscript in one of my previous companies.
Okay, but so this is basically like syntactic sugar, like this is another layer, because this basically it still compiles to JavaScript.
Well, it's a syntactic sugar, but on top of OCaml and not on top of JavaScript.
What is OCaml?
OCaml is one of the functional languages that is part of, OCaml is general purpose high-level multi-paradigm programming language would extend the Camel dialect of ML. And then ML is the meta language, like functional, like group of languages, functional languages. But it's like it's really fast.
If you wouldn't show me the Wikipedia articles, I would be just thinking that you are straight out lying to me and just so making it up.
No, like there are a bunch of like different like functional programming languages, and one OCaml is like Objective Camel.
Wow, they could have called it Camel ++ or.
But like this guy Jordan Walk.
So wait, so this RESTscript,
yeah.
Yeah, it compiles to OCaml and then it compiles to JavaScript?
No, it like RESTscript is basically OCaml. It's just syntactic sugar on top of it. And then I think Bloomberg created a toolchain for RESTscript for reason, because like it was called ReasonML previously. So ReasonML, like this is basically RESTscript. They did this like rebranding and stuff like that. But like So like
Branding.
ReasonML is the syntax for OCaml, and then compiles to JavaScript using and now I forgot, like some kind of toolchain. That's how
Okay.
it gets compiled to JavaScript. But like when it compiles to JavaScript, the JavaScript you get is this really optimized JavaScript using like only JavaScript primitives, not using the really heavy stuff. So
Oh,
in
okay.
RESTscript, I don't think you can have arrays that are multi types.
Type. Okay.
So like arrays are only
So this is
always
very
like
heavily typed.
yeah, like this is types. Yeah, it's better than TypeScript. Like you have to have types here. Like you don't have to
Okay.
write them. Those are inferred.
So since since it compiles with the OCaml, it will not even compile if you have problem with types, right?
No, it will not compile.
Yeah. So that's what makes it stronger than TypeScript.
Yeah.
Because TypeScript will often forget to mention to you that you made a mistake somewhere, which is very not nice, from my opinion, because everything works on my device, and then I commit and push, and I break the pipeline because TypeScript forgot to mention to me that something does not compile. I mean, transpile.
Yeah.
So okay, so rescript, nice.
Yeah, I loved it actually. Like it was great, and like it was created. So this Jordan Walk guy, he created React in 2013, and then first versions of React were actually written in this ML language. It wasn't written in JS. So where I have it? Where do I have it?
So did they decide to switch because of they wanted to go open source, and they hoped that more people will understand JavaScript than ML?
Yes. Yeah. Basically.
Makes sense.
So React was first created in, I don't know where to find it actually.
You can ask you can perplex that.
Yeah.
I think this is something you can perplex.
Okay, let's do that.
And while we do that, I would love for people in the chat, for lovely people in the chat, if you could tell me what was your first language you learned, because I'm kind of curious. Like my first language, I think it was also Pascal in school. It was useless and pointless, I believe. But I think that actually great first language to learn is C++, because at the end of the day, all of the other languages are just abstracted away, and you learn less and less and less. But C++ will teach you about the memory management. Okay, we have PHP 4.5. I don't know why, Rodolfo, but I'm sorry to say that out loud, but I really hate PHP. I don't know why. Maybe because of how teachers were trying to teach me that. Maybe because I was coming out from C++ and these types of languages. I see that Ryan had C++ as well. So PHP, like for me, it had such a complicated and weird syntax. I just couldn't wrap my head around what is being launched when, because when you come from object-oriented languages, and like compile, etc., and then you go to PHP, which is how you call that? Is goes basically line by line.
Fuck. It's the same as JavaScript, like, right?
Yeah,
so like it's interpreted.
Yeah, interpret language. So I couldn't understand where is the start of the file. Like maybe also the problem was that I didn't have a good IDE, because I think the first PHP related stuff, like I had bad teachers. Okay, I had bad teachers, and they didn't teach us how to use a proper IDE, how to work with code, how to achieve what we wanted. Like one of my teachers, she was trying to teach us C++. We didn't yet understand properly the for loops, how it compiles, how it runs, the types, nothing. And she went with flags, the compilation flags that you pass somehow, somewhere inside the code. Like, I didn't even know how to create a header file with implementation file and she went with flags. Like, she basically opened the book right in the middle and was like, oh, that would be nice to teach them. Come on. So yeah, I had bad teachers. And one day, I hope I will give PHP a second chance. Because I know
the version of PHP right now? I've never learned how to use PHP.
I tried. I tried a couple of years ago because I was trying to make a page on using WordPress. So it's running on PHP. And I had the hardest time. I was miserable trying to understand how PHP works. It was so problematic for me.
You know how I learned like programming languages? I would go to some kind of website like this.
Coding game.
Like Code Wars.
Oh, okay.
Shit.
I'm curious. Can on a separate page, can you check if Coding Game is still working? Because they had support for all of the languages, if I remember correctly. You could even write in Haskell and, pardon my language, brainfuck.
Yay! I can sign in with Gmail here.
Nice. Yeah.
In Codekara, you can also like choose from, I don't know, 20 or 50 languages. And like in 2005, 2006, I would use some kind of like website like that.
Hold on a second. I'm curious. Rodolfo wrote, I had to learn PHP because it was the only environment where I could run a server. Back then, XAMPP was only 5 megabytes. I had, oh wow. Oh wow, yeah, that makes sense. Yes, to straight it out, I will not say that PHP is a bad language or anything like that. I just for some reason gained a huge hate towards it, but the facts are clear. Over half of the internet runs on PHP. Am I correct? Can you quickly perplex that for me? What percentage of internet runs on PHP? Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, one day I will give PHP another chance. Although now that you can run servers with Node.js and technologies that I learned, I'm not sure how I would feel learning a new language just to achieve one specific purpose. 79. Oh wow, that's a huge number.
Yeah.
So I would say, Rodolfo, if you could back me up on that, if you would like to start hacking, PHP and Python would be the best languages.
Like
what do you think, Łukasz?
Start learning from PHP or Python?
No, start hacking, like
hacking.
White hat, black hat, gray hat. Yeah.
Hacking with PHP?
I mean, if 79% of the internet runs on PHP, yeah, exactly, Python and PHP. This will be the best languages because Python and allows you to create very fast and easy scripts that could make a lot of bad stuff on your computer and like easier to read than Bash, I believe. And PHP, maybe not to write stuff, but to understand how most of the technologies work.
Understand the vulnerabilities, but not like really use it for hacking.
I mean, yeah, like if you want to start learning how to hack, don't start with WordPress. I mean, start with.
If you want to learn how to hack, there is this Linux distribution,
Kali.
For Kali.
No. Yeah. Oh yeah, Kali.
Yeah. With K. So like that's the Linux for hacking. Let's go back to the topic. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
so
sorry.
where should that's the coding game.
and they had so many, like they have very engaging games that I still remember I was making I was working on one of those games, and basically on one screen you had visualized like Mars, right? Like the planet Mars, and you had the Mars not the lander, the small spaceship, and you had to write a code that will always make this spaceship fly up and land on a specific spot. So not only you had to understand the for loops, the ifs, and how it runs all together, you had to use maths. I remember that I implemented some algorithms for cryptography as well. I still remember like writing notes in my notebooks, trying to figure out how all of that matches and how it works together. So coding game was great. Maybe not just for learning the language, although it would be nice for learning the language as well, but using your programming muscles for that. This is a great
So this is basically advent of code, right?
Yes, but advent of code gives you this in terms of giving you like bite-sized, not always bite-sized, but giving you those riddles to solve. And
puzzles.
you learn how to think programmatically. And one of the cool things I remember from the coding game, sometimes they even had multiplayer battles. So you would write a code to program how your like in 2D space, how your like spaceship or something like that would fly, right? And other players would have also their spaceships, and all of them would run the same time, but everyone had their own code. So you would win if your code was the best in terms of handling corner case scenarios and pushing the enemies away from. I think it was kind of like holding the spot, I think. What's the king of the hill type of game?
I'm the king of the castle. I'm the king of the castle.
Must be the reason why I'm king of the. Sometimes the song stuck with me so hard.
The perplexity gave me an answer to that. So the whole React was released in JavaScript, but some parts of it were first written in standard ML. So standard ML is another like language from this dialect of ML languages, which OCaml is also one of the ML languages, basically.
What's the meta language?
Let's see.
Is it similar to Facebook language?
No, this is not about meta being meta. This is language from 1973.
I'm joking. Come on.
Meta meaning, what does meta mean?
Meta is like a language about like programming languages, kind of like meta means one step, like one abstraction step higher. So meta language would be like language that you can describe a language with. What meta means in context of ML. And you passed the link. Oh wow, that's nice.
Used to describe, analyze, or manipulate a language or formal system. Blah blah blah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically so what you described.
So it kind of looks like if you would you see the programming language for the first time ever, and you have to come up with the name. So it's like, oh, that's a meta language. It's a language that allows you to describe the language of computers while you are rolling your mustache and smoking on a cigar.
It's funny how those languages were invented, like created 50 or more years ago.
Oh yeah. I think much more, to be honest.
Well, this one is from 50 years ago, right? Like this one.
Did you see screenshots of like the first woman programmist who she was standing next to her program.
Yeah,
But
Ada Lovelace.
Yeah, the program was like this huge book because it was basically written in those papers that contained bits for the.
I think so. She was the daughter of Lord Byron, which is like a poet. So she was rich, and like she was a genius mathematician. I think her programs were not running on anything because there were no computers back then, but there was some guy that like started to invent this kind of like mechanical calculator, and she would write a program for that non-existent machine. That's my understanding.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I would always read it as Lovelas. Ada Lovelas.
Okay.
But yeah, but going back to the newsletters and what's new with let's shift back a little bit to React Native.
So for React Native, again, I haven't prepared much, but like this is one of the best resources that you can get on React and React Native.
So
this is created by Sebastian Lorber. I think he works at Meta now, or maybe not. I don't remember. Right now, like he has a lot of testimonials from like people from the community that you will know, like Mike Grabowski. Hello, Mike.
Oh, wow.
And Mike says, if every newsletter was as informative, the world would be a better place.
Oh.
Oh, that's so nice. But yeah, like there are a bunch of Mike Pieszchała from Callstack is also here. So like every week you will get a section on React. Where is it? No. What? Not articles, newsletter. Okay. Here. So you will get a section on React, and this week's greatest news is about Storybook 9. I hear it's a big news, but like I'm not really that into Storybook. I don't use it, so I don't know. Then React Status is also an excellent resource. Yes, I have it in my list. React
to be honest, I think that the idea of storybooks kind of faded away because of tools like Figma. Because if I understand correctly, storybooks were basically a way for like bridging communication between developers and designers, right?
No. Storybook is a tool that allows you to test your components in isolation.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No. You said this is a bridge between designers and...
But why would I? By the way, Rodolfo says that React Status is also
I have it also opened. I have it also opened somewhere. React Status, yeah. React Status is great.
And Ryan said that it's to test and create documentation. Yeah, I kind of understand, but sometimes these types of tools they turn into a burden because you need to keep them up to date, and people often don't. And I like to test my components on my playground.
What are you saying, man?
What?
No, please don't spread this, let's say, biased misinformation on this live stream. We are supposed to bring the torch of knowledge and industry standards, and you're saying I'm not using.
I'm crashing that industry reality.
And you're saying I don't want to use sophisticated testing tools because I'd rather do console logs.
Let the first stone be thrown by the person who uses who doesn't use console logs.
I love console logs, but I also love sophisticated debugging tools. I also like to have time travel in my Redux debugger.
Listen, I don't know what it says about me, but apparently I'm a caveman who is able to create magic with just a toothpick.
Okay, so like I said, I'm not using Storybook on the daily basis. I don't know much about it, but I know that it's like very useful to test in isolation interaction for components, visual testing, blah blah blah, all of that. So Diego says, I understand his point about Storybook. Every time they release a new version, it's a pain updating your whole isolated components to visualize them again.
Yeah, so that's what I meant by this being a burden. Because listen, I'm going to be very controversial now.
It's like with every tool that upgrades to a new version.
Yeah, but I'm going to be very controversial in terms of even the testing.
That's my cat.
Yeah, I heard him very clearly. It was so perfectly timed. He was like a very okay, very controversial. I think that especially now with all of the vibe coding, with all of the vibe coding, etc. I think that test-driven development, it's not really working anymore that much, especially with smaller projects that are being created fast and they have to be agile. I always looked at tests, especially in those up and coming projects, as I would create tests once we have a really nice working app and we are like, okay, we don't want to break it. That's where I would write tests, to basically make a snapshot of how it looks now, and we don't want to go backward with the functionalities. We don't want any regressions with what's currently there. And that's a snapshot for me. Because if you are working by yourself, would you really put in storybooks, or would you still go with console logs?
Well, so it's not about console logging versus Storybook, but yeah. So those kind of tools, like if you're working separately, do you even need Git?
Yes, yes. Sorry, but yes.
Well, like you can say that maybe not, right?
No.
Maybe you don't need like.
Some time ago, when we were when I got a new company laptop, I cleaned, like I didn't use all of this iOS copying stuff because it doesn't work. It never worked for me. It always thrown issues and errors. So I started fresh. And I, like a Neanderthal that I am apparently, I copied everything on a separate drive, and I copied all of my files onto a new laptop. And then when we were working on a project with my friend, I remembered that, oh, wait, I had a similar thing in one of my previous projects. Let me check that on Git. I didn't use Git. And I basically wiped out like a month of my work because for some reason, I was like, nah, it's a small stuff. I won't need Git for that. Apparently, I need it. You should use Git with everything. And one most important part about why you should use Git for every little thing. You need to know Git like you know, I don't know, your language. I don't know what you can know, but everywhere I worked with, everyone using Git. And sometimes, like if you have a Git magician in your team, it makes everything so much better because they can basically like do some magical merges, reverses, and some references, and just do some Git magic and fix everything. Like when I was starting in the industry, I wasn't scared of programming, of debugging, of tasks. I was scared of Git because all of my initial tests with Git, somehow I managed to destroy and remove all my repositories in first 5 commands. I don't know how and why still, but I did. So yeah, Git 100%.
So, like, this tool, Storybook, is not for you to test your weather app or to-do list app or like Hello World app.
Why are you listing my apps? How do you know I have all of those apps?
Those are my apps.
Get off my Git.
This is for you to test your like components in your React application when you want to, like, I don't know, like create stories for them. Like, this is proper tool for visual testing and for interaction testing. I said, I'm not really familiar with this like grounds up, but I see the value in it, and like,
let's make a
it's very popular.
I want to make a verbal contract, a verbal commitment to everyone who is watching right now. So please keep me, how do you say that? Validate me, keep me in check. Next time we see you on the stream,
me?
I will.
Next time you see me, or what?
Not you. I will see you sooner than the stream. Next time I'm talking to everyone that's listening now. I'm talking to the lovely people in the chats. Next time you see me, I'm gonna be a master of Storybook, and I'm gonna tell you all about the Storybook and why you should use it in all of your projects. I'm gonna learn it because apparently I committed a programmatic faux pas by saying that Storybook is not as amazing as it is.
Let's do this.
Let's maybe
create. Let's create Expo app.
Some live. Okay.
Awesome Storybook. Yeah, let's do it now.
Well, it's better than naming project Kewin is dumb. Kewin is a liquid ass.
So we're creating
for all of those lovely people that are listening to us in the background. Łukasz decided that he doesn't want to wait another some time for the next stream. He wants to prove to me that Storybook is amazing right here and right now. And I'm kind of excited to see that.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna succeed, because like, again, I'm not okay, so...
I'm not okay?
Now, I want to do this. Let's say I want to run iOS.
What is this terminal? It's nice
and
Word. Clean. Okay. I've been using Ghosty.
Very similar, like the AI-powered terminal, basically.
I'm not a fan of, like, I'm a huge fan of AI, and you know that, but I wouldn't put AI in my sandwich. I wouldn't put AI in my cereals. So there is a time and place for AI, and apparently most of the companies figured out that every place is good for AI. It's not. It's a tool. Like, everyone is now like, if you have a hammer, suddenly everything looks like a nail. And in this case, the hammer is AI, and everything is.
Well, I like AI in my terminal because I don't know all of the commands that I need on the daily basis.
But you don't have to have AI to have like smart recollection. The Control R, basically, the bringing up all of the previews. Rodolfo says Storybook is great for helping the design team validate whether the components implemented by developers were correctly built and also avoid rework. So about that, see, I think that it's kind of limiting because designers are using Figma most of the time, right? And your job as a developer is to implement those designs as good as they come. And ideal situation would be for those designers to then run those components and check them out and test them out on actual app, on actual device, because this will allow everyone for faster iterations. And instead of, because if you test all of those components in separation, it's kind of like you are doing visual unit tests on those components, when at the end of the day they will work in tandem. All of those components will work together in a huge app and not separately. So as much as I do understand your point, and I do agree with that I don't want to dismiss Storybook completely. I still see a huge spot in like development pipeline for Storybook. It just very depends on what team you are working with and what is people's experience, because for some people, like, Storybooks might be an overkill, and it will be awful to work with that just to learn that nobody's using that. And Diego says, I think it is pretty good if you work in a project that has its own well-defined design system. It helps to develop components quickly, and rather and going through a flow to see if component looks and works how expected, you just check the component directly. Nevertheless, it takes time to keep the Storybook updated. For React Native, I don't know, like using it, but definitely for web. I don't like using it, but definitely for web. So, oh yeah, that's also a different point. Because yeah, like compared to web, React Native, I feel like doesn't have as many components as web does. So I don't know. When the app is on React Native, I would prefer for all of those components to be seen in the context of the entire app, not just as a separate one little item. So, like, maybe the problem is that just me personally, I don't see a great specific use case. Maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just lucky, and maybe I never needed a tool like that. Maybe I just never landed in a project that had very, specific components, nicely designed, and everyone was willing and ready to go to learn Storybook. So, yeah, I know that I remember that I actually used Storybook in one of the projects a long time ago in React, and it was kind of cool. I think it was even kept as a separate project. Yeah. Okay. One thing. I must say one thing, and I must say that if you are working on a components library, you must have Storybook. That's one thing I know. Or because it will be. Why are you laughing? That's a fact.
Like you're changing your tune.
No, because it's, bro, like, this is very context dependent. Like, if you would ask me, oh, do you use AI? And I would be like, it depends on the context. So me personally, I never found a good use for a Storybook. But if I would be writing a components library, then yes, the Storybook makes sense. I would even say that it's necessary in that case, because you need to. Yeah.
Listen, man, I need to wrap up because my cat is acting up, and like
we like overextended a long time anyway.
We were aiming for 2 hours and we hit 2 hours. Like I wish my wife was here to take care of my cat, but
no worries, bro. Like your cat is much more important than any stream, so go take care of the cat.
We will definitely continue working on Storybook shortly. Please let us know if you are still watching. Please let us know, what do you want to hear about in the next stream? Like, which newsletters or which news should we cover. If you let us know in advance, we can get prepared. Like we can actually figure out who to ask at Callstack to talk with us about Storybook or whatever. So this
you can reach us on I think X would be the best, because I try to limit the social networks and social medias as much as I can, and X would be the best.
You can find me here. That's me, Łukasz Chludziński at Lukasz_up, and Kewin is Q.
1W. Kewin, like Kewin, but replace all of the I's with ones.
That's Kewin. So reach out to us or at Callstack or whatever, and let us know what you want us to discuss. We will figure out someone for this stream to discuss those kind of like news and topics.
And next time you can treat me like a Neanderthal that uses the most primitive tools available to achieve what he wants. So use this situation to reach out to me, and maybe on the next stream we all will learn something new. And thank you, JSC, for being here. Thank you, Diego. Thank you, Rodolfo. And there was also one important comment there, Ryan. Thank you all for participating. I had a lot of fun as well. Thank you, Łukasz, for having me. It was
thank you to my cat for his patience.
Yeah, actually your cat like works like he gave us a great schedule, because he basically just like 2 hours, like Łukasz, finish, now you're mine. So
next time we'll do it for longer. I will make sure to have someone take care of him. Thanks a lot. I'm ending the stream. No, I'm not ending the stream, because we have we have the outro music. So I'm gonna do the outro music now. Thanks again. See you guys in the next one. Kewin, actually, my cat is still meowing, but look at this. The project just got started. It took a while for it to start, but we have it. So like it was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, right?
But you were building all from the scratch. It makes sense. Are you working from a new laptop?
Let's end now. Thanks a lot.